T-Man 978 Chill Review. Hello everybody! Right now we're about to combine Netflix Playmates Voltron the Legendary Defender. And don't worry, these weapons right here that a lot of people forget about, they actually still attach while he's in combined form. So stay tuned if you want to see that. Right now, we're going to just look at the lions. Of course, the black lion is the biggest, but I was shocked to see that the arm and leg lines aren't too far off in size. Like, their legs are almost like the same length. And the leg lions are almost just as big as the black lion. So it's cool that they were able to make them close to the same size, because the older Voltron, I remember the arms were way small. But all of them being comparatively big that's a cool thing to me. So there you go. That's the only thing I really wanted to say about their lion modes. As far as articulation, they're all weak in some type of way. Like, these can look up and down, which is cool. I like that. And they do have a little bit of pivot. I think I would have liked all of them to have that instead of just rotation or just being able to look down and not up at all. The black lion has the weakest front legs because they can't really swing forward like these. He can still get into some cat-like poses. And his rear legs are the only ones that hand out because of the articulation needed for Voltron, or that they wanted to give Voltron. I shouldn't say needed, because he didn't need that articulation, but thankfully they gave it to us. But I'm going to transform them and put them into Voltron mode. Now here they are, ready to be formed into Voltron. Time to form feet and legs! What's cool is when you connect them, the lights and sounds change.
Yellow lion engaged!
And you push something like, push the button.
Pitch, fire up the green lion. We're coming in hot.
They'll tell you to do that. So you could follow the commands. I'll do that. I was going to do arms and body last, but okay. This takes a little tiny bit of force.
You can count on me, hero.
Pitch, we're going to need that shield.
Already? You're not even formed.
Lance, we're still missing the blue lion.
Okay. Now this just shoves into here. Push the button again.
We need the red lion. We need...
Blue lion, ready for action. Red lion, ready for battle. Green lion, all systems go.
Yellow lion engaged. Red, green, black, blue, and yellow lions detected. Voltron operational.
But
Voltron complete. Targeting rope beast.
what we didn't do is fold this out yet and form the head. And there you have it. It's Voltron. He is a little bit back heavy due to the way they design the heel spurs down here. You have to make sure they're bent
Let's see if I can freeze these guys.
down at a certain angle. But let me try to get them all in one shot. Here he is, just standing there in a static pose. And like that, he is very impressive. It looks good. Some people complain about the way the shoulders are down a little bit. But, that's the least of his worries. It's a nice, heavy, durable figure once you have it all together. And those arms, if this thing fell down, those arms are not coming off. Only thing might be a problem is the legs detach
Separation sequence. Engaged.
a little bit easier than you'd like. You're supposed to push this button right here and pull it out, but as you saw, I just pulled it right off. And sometimes that can happen while you're posing it. If you connect, the last line is going to say all this stuff again, so I'm going to turn that off. And then turn it back on. But you get more lights and sounds with everybody connected. He says more things.
Form shield.
My shield can't take much more of this.
And you can't form the shield for real because the wings become the shield in the cartoon. They don't become the shield here.
Firepower. We got you, buddy.
While I have him standing here static, let's compare him to some other combining robots. This is Combinivore Superion, who is significantly smaller. And the funny thing about that is, the center body was $25. This, $30. These limbs were about retail $16.99. These are $17.99. But I guess more engineering is involved in here because they have to have 3 moods, whereas these only have 2. So these have to be a robot, a vehicle, plus a limb. So maybe you could account for that, but these things have a lot more plastic than this. Now here comes Devastator. Devastator retails for about $150. You can get all 5 of these lions for about $100, $105 without tax. So Devastator is bigger, but Devastator has a lot more engineering as well. And he's definitely more posable, way more posable. But he doesn't feel as durable as this Voltron right here. His plastic is way more thin and he just feels less secure than Voltron. But let me turn him around so you can see the proportions, like sideways and whatnot, of what you're dealing with. So Devastator still might have a fighting chance against this guy. He would have, but I don't know. If they were based on these actual real toys, Devastator might lose because he's more rickety than this Voltron. Just because here's another gigantic robot. Titans Return Fortress Maximus here. So there you go with that. Fortress Maximus is $150 just like that Devastator, but since he doesn't turn into 6 individual robots, Fortress Maximus gets to be a little bit bigger, and he has more plastic as well, and he has lights and sounds. But that's the last comparison. Let's dig into some pros and cons, shall we? And show you his weapons. But to rotate his arm, this whole chunk right here moves instead of this connecting port swiveling. And as you saw, when I pulled that out, it just fell right back. The arm might be a little bit too heavy for that connector joint.
Now we go on the offensive.
But like I said, that whole back piece rotates, which might be odd, but the arm can at least fly forward. And he can look up a bit, but his face detaches right there from his neck, which might be a little bit weird looking, but it's possible. It's there. That's cool right there. Con, the elbow. The elbow bends that much before bumping into that little leg right there. So it barely looks like it's bent at all. So you have to either rotate the leg in, and then it still doesn't bend much at all. It does rotate right here at the upper bicep, if you want to call that a bicep. You could also bring it out like that. I like to bring it out so it can look like it's bent in more. To me, when you bend it like this, it doesn't look like it's bent, but that might be made mentally. Over here, because this shield right there, you have no choice but to bring that in. So you have no choice but to bring that in to make it look symmetrical. The wrist, or what would be called the wrist, rotates for when it's holding the weapons. Well, that's cool.
Hawk, give me full reverse thrusters.
Roger.
Yes.
Engaging lower thrusters.
No waist, and I'm going to turn this off. It has no waist rotation. The legs are only decent. Like, they go out that much. And they kick forward that much. I would definitely like more than that. The knee is technically right here, but it has another knee right there, so you can get a double jointed flight pose right there. So I really like that. Ankle pivots, the heads rotate that much. I mean, depending on how wide the stance is, it only looks a little bit good. And he's held up basically heel-wise by these legs, and as you can see, they just move right out of the way. I mean, you'll have to really fiddle around with him to get him in a good standing pose. But the main thing that kills this toy for me, and which shows me that this is an impressive toy for the cost, like the amount of paint and the way it's designed is impressive, but they just killed it and made it a children's toy all the way by not giving him neck rotation. And that doesn't become a problem until you want to do things like put the sword in the mouth or in the hand. Get in there. You put the sword in the hand, and then you try to get like a good dynamic pose. Like you could just do this, but now he can't look over here at the camera. That, for me, drives me up the wall. Any action figure should have a neck. I don't know what they were thinking with that. Not at all. That really makes me sad. I hope some company creates some type of third-party neck. If they did, I don't know how they're gonna do it, because you have to unscrew. You basically have to unscrew this whole toy. The way the neck is slotted in is 2 rods coming from the neck into the shoulder, allowing this rotation right there. They should have given it, instead of that, they should have put a big ball joint so this thing could have had all types of swivel up and down, tiltage, but I don't know why they didn't go that route. Like, if it wasn't for that, I'd be more satisfied with this purchase right now. So my main problems with this toy: no waist joint, no neck rotation, elbows barely bend in, and I could complain about these necks not contracting into the body because of the way it transforms, giving him smaller arms instead of these long, almost touching the knee arms. But I would be more okay with that if it had more elbow bend. Other than that, the legs are decent. The fact that I have double jointed knees and like ankle pivot is awesome. I can't believe they thought about that, to be honest, since this is made by Playmates. And when I think Playmates, I think about Ninja Turtles, and those Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles, are barely posable at all, and they disappoint me, and that's why I never bought them, no matter how much I like the show. But it's durable, well painted, and everything else I said good about it. The wings, you can do all types of things with them. I kind of wish these were on both sides, but you can rotate the wings out like this and give him a more original Voltron look with the wings out that way. But when you have them like this, the wings do have those thrusters, but they're pointing up. This is what he looks like from the back. But to show you, you can still attach the weapons. You put this one here with a little missile in there. You can peg this weapon here. And let me attach the other ones and come back. Here you go, right here. I showed Cincy Nerd this yesterday, and he was like, why does the yellow lion look like it has a massive growth on his leg? But there you go with that. Of course, you have to turn this backward instead of the forward, because all that will be into the ground, so that you can't do that. But I haven't seen a lot of people do this in videos. I'm not saying I've watched a lot of reviews. I only watched about 2 Voltron reviews, because I didn't want to spoil it for myself. I wanted to have my own opinion on it. But since I did notice that nobody tried that, which was weird, so I wanted to make sure that I show that off. Okay, here's something very important. As far as this being a child's toy, like, man, these two lines right here are damn near impossible to detach. What you have to do is put your fingers like right here, rotate the arm up to this way, put your fingers right here, and swing forward.
Separation sequence engaged.
Which could possibly, and detach the shield, pinch your fingers. It is like a major afterthought. It's like you have to put some leverage
Great work,
and
team.
pull it out. So it's like, let me try to put it back in there. The best way to do it is by putting your inside of your palm like right here, grab here, and like while you're pulling it, you're pressing in with your palm at the same time.
Sequence engaged.
Like, man, they wanted to make sure you don't get that arm out by accident. So, oh boy, that's something to think about, or I hope that helped you, because it was very difficult for me to do when I first tried that. Credit goes to PR. He got it from somewhere else, but I saw him do it. So there you go with that. But it's a decent figure. I like it. And definitely the 5 lions standing together definitely look good. But if you are like a high-end collector, this is probably not the toy for you. Because if you love articulation like me, this will get on your nerves. I would say that a kid probably wouldn't even notice that the neck doesn't turn. But I'm going to be real. When I was little, when I was like 6, 7 playing with the original Transformers, watching them do all the stuff that they did on the cartoon, and then I get the toy and it's like, oh, only the arms move, the legs don't bend. That stuff disappointed me like crazy. Like, so you can't sit here and say, oh, it's a child's toy. You can't judge it like that. When I was a child, I judged things like that because I wanted articulation. So, say what you want to say about that. Or that's more into the mind of T-Man. Because that stuff drove me crazy. And I know if I had this as a kid, that neck would still bug me as a kid. I would still play with it. And this is a fun toy, but that would have drove me up the wall. So, I don't know. Look at all the good things and all the bad things that I mentioned. Make your own decision on whether these are the purchase for you. But in the meantime, if you like this video, you're still watching it right now, click the like button. In fact, whenever you just start one of my videos, you should just immediately click the like button in the first place. There should be some other videos popping up right now. I did do some giveaways this weekend prior, like I put them out the day before this video. Well, a few days before this video will be released. Check in my playlist. Go back in time for my recent uploads. If you still see them, then the contest is still going on. If you don't see them, it's over with. The last day is January 28th. If this is after January 28th, 2017, don't pay attention to anything I'm saying. Thank you for watching. Until next time, T-Man978, out of here.